Okay, am I the only one wondering why I'm just now finding out that Tupac and Eazy E were extorted and were sent death threats before their actual death? I'll be back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Newcomers, new listeners. Hey, welcome. Let's get into this. Okay, I didn't stumble upon this. Someone actually told me about it. Shout out to you. You know who you are. Yeah, I didn't know anything about it until it was mentioned to me, and I did some little research, and I saw a few magazines, I guess you can call it, online magazines talking about it. It was published in 2011, right? Those are the dates on all of the sites that are just talking about it. Maybe about 5 or 6 sites. And then there's the actual FBI documents that are online. So this stuff be in your face, but if you don't know anything about it to look for it, you don't know. What they say, that's how they hide information from people. They usually say that's how they hide information from black folks. Put it in a book. In this case, put it online. Don't give anybody a hint that is out there. You won't be looking for it. How you gonna look for something that you don't know exists, right? I find it mighty peculiar that out of all the articles that I have recently researched about Tupac or what have you, the music industry, hip hop, I never saw or heard that mentioned. Never read an article where that was said, where Tupac was extorted or received death threats before his actual death, or Eazy E. Never read anything that suggested anything close to that, right? I'm like, that's peculiar. It's been pinned on Diddy, or Diddy is a part of it, but he's not that. I don't think he's the only one that was behind Tupac being murdered. I don't believe he was the only one behind Biggie or Eazy E for that matter. Who has ever, and then I'm going to play a clip of Frost speaking on what he feel or how he felt. Matter of fact, let me play that clip now, and then I'm going to get into the contents. Actually, it's 2 articles. It's one article talking about how both rappers were extorted and received death threats. And then I have another article I'm going to read talking about discussing how did Eazy E really die. Okay, check out this video.
First of all, you gotta even think of that tragedy. No girl has ever came forward saying that they got the AIDS virus from Eazy or obtained thing. I'm gonna tell you what happened with Eazy getting AIDS, and I believe this to this day. And I don't care if you guys got it on film. You could tell the world. They gave him tainted needles with acupuncture needles that tainted him and gave it to him because he got hurt in Honda Valley on quad runners, and he was riding quads. And what happened is that someone, I won't say the name, but people know the name. I don't want to say that name because it's the devil's name. But, you know, another person in rap, if you know your history of rap, calls him a devil. So if you know your history in rap or West Coast rap, you'll know who I'm saying. That someone, I won't say the name, but people know the name. I don't want to say that name because it's the devil's name. But, you know, another person in rap, if you know your history of rap, calls him a devil. So if you know your history in rap or West Coast rap, you'll know who I'm saying.
Those of you who are like hardcore into rap history, all that, who is he talking about? I have no clue. Please don't come with the smart comments. For real, don't. I'm asking a genuine question. Who is he talking about? Who is the devil? I don't think he's talking about Diddy. He says, if you know your West Coast, well, okay, you guys know what he said. Who is he talking about? Well, I assume he's not talking about Diddy. Okay, let's go on.
But I was told even in the last conversation from Eazy not to even talk to that man. And
okay, that part I heard many people say that they were warned to stay away from Diddy. So he might be talking about Diddy, but if he is not, please let me know who he's talking about. Educate this sister. Okay, let's go on.
And not only that, but I think that they really had a stronghold of giving him tainted needles with the AIDS virus in them through acupuncture. Because how else could somebody die that fast of AIDS? Have you even heard of somebody dying in 2 weeks of AIDS, bro? Come on, man. This is just unheard of, bro. It was like, I'm in the hospital. I contracted the AIDS virus. 2 weeks later, March 26th or whatever, I fall out and I die. You know what I mean? It's the same conspiracy to me in my eyes of rap. If you really want to know, like Operation Either Stop Rap, or a dude that was just mimicking Fuck the Police. It seems like every person that's done a record about that or done that or raised up to the government has either been their demise. Tupac, another example, Mr. Clinton, Mr. Vato.
Since day one, there have always been suspicion surrounding Eazy E's death. Always. It was like we had never heard. AIDS had been out on the forefront since the 80s, right? So from that point on, you had never heard of someone dying so rapidly like that. One minute we hear, oh, he's in the hospital and he has HIV. Next minute he died. It was like, what? It had everybody head spinning. So, you know, everybody has always had suspicion about this, and it's still that way today. If someone asks me point blank period, do I believe that man was murdered? Yeah, I do. Because of all that is unfolding. The root that has been brought out to the forefront is Diddy. So all this is coming out, right? As many people have said, he's not the only one. And if you look at the history of the music industry, this has happened all throughout music industry. And it wasn't, and it hasn't just been affecting black artists. They do this to white artists. You know, they mysteriously die. They mysteriously disappear. Or all of a sudden they just unalive themselves, you know? Not just even in music, in movie and TV. Actor Lee Thomas, I really thought that was suspicious, and I still do think it's suspicious. Well, no, what's his name? Lee Thompson. He grew up to be a handsome young man. Man, when I saw him when he had gotten older, I was like, oh my God, he was so handsome. And then they come out and say he unalived himself. And I tried. What's peculiar about it is when you try to do research on him, it's not too much available. And then they had statements from the family, you know, talking about mental health. And I'm like, I'm not saying they're lying. I'm just saying it's still suspicious to me. Okay, now let's get on to this article that is talking about Tupac and Eazy E being threatened by a Jewish gang. Wasn't no Crips, no Bloods, no black gangs, street gangs, or Hispanics. It was supposedly, no, it ain't even supposedly. They have FBI files and documents, which I will include in this video, showing and talking about. They were saying that the gang that threatened them were Jewish. So this ain't no speculation. Okay, let's go on. The article was published April the 14th, 2011. Okay. A 122-page file recently released by the FBI suggests that West Coast rappers Tupac Shakur and Eric Eazy E. Wright were threatened and extorted by a group considered a domestic terrorist organization by federal authorities. That sentence made me think about the video I did titled America Bombed a Black Liberation Group. Now, they were a liberation group, or a group that was, you know, all about the betterment and freedom of black Americans, right? And they were labeled, I don't know if they were labeled terrorists, but they claimed it had gotten so bad that the group was, okay, check out the video. So all I know is at the end, they ended up killing the majority of the people. The police department, Philadelphia Police Department, bombed the Liberation's home and destroyed properties around it, blocks, a whole blocks of homes were burnt out, right? So let's go on. In the file, FBI agents describe an extortion scheme purported against the late hip-hop legends, in which they would receive death threats via an anonymous telephone caller, at which point the Jewish Defense League, which is described by the FBI as a violent white ring terrorist group, would step in and offer protection for money. The FBI stated that the investigation began on September 11th, 1996, 2 days before Shakur would die in Vegas from gunshot wounds he suffered on September the 7th, when an unnamed source came forward with information and enough evidence to start the investigation. The files so after he died, someone came in and told them what had happened. Let's continue. The files redacted portions leaves more questions than answers, as many released FBI documents do, but does make reference to a lawsuit involving Wright's Ruthless Records Company. In the settlement of the lawsuit, an unnamed person received $1.5 million from the record label, and according to the language in the FBI file, appears to have been tied into the alleged extortion scheme. So how did they get paid if they were okay? The investigation never led to charges being filed against anyone, and the file itself ends with clippings of several articles written about Shakur's shooting and subsequent death in '96. I'm going to attach the FBI files to this video in the description. What stood out to me was, it was a head scratcher, was how many articles, Tupac articles, they had attached to this FBI file. You know, it was in what I felt like it was kind of trying to justify what happened to Tupac, trying to like steer it away from this Jewish group possibly being involved in it, you know, in his death. That's what it looks like to me. Okay, let's go on. Wright, who founded the hip hop group NWA along with fellow artists Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, DJ Yella, MC Ran, and Arabian Prince, died of AIDS-related complications on March 26, 95, only a month after he was diagnosed with the illness. I don't know anybody who has expired that quickly from the HIV/AIDS disease. Let's go on. It has been reported that after Dr. Dre Young left NWA and Ruthless Records, Wright and Jerry Heller, manager co-founder of Ruthless Records, enlisted the assistance of the Jewish Defense League in response to threats from Dr. Dre's new label CEO Marion Suge Knight. Okay. Shakur was shot in Vegas, or on Vegas Boulevard, just after 11 p.m. September 7th, 96. A short while after he left the Mike Tyson fight, he was seated in the passenger seat of Knight's BMW, and a larger convoy of friends and associates were in front and behind that car. When the documents were released by the FBI this week, there were initially hopes that they would shed some light on a federal investigation into the murder a week ago. The FBI released documents pertaining to the death of Christopher Notorious Big Wallace. Oh, I need to check that out. I didn't even see that link. They have a link, so I might do a video on Big as well. The heavily redacted documents did reveal that Wallace was killed with rare Gecko 9mm ammunition, which is only produced in Germany and sold in California. Sold in California and New Jersey. The documents also revealed that when the investigation took the obvious angle of linking the March 9th, 97 murder of that of rival rapper Shakur's untimely death, the FBI learned there were some of the same people present at both murder scenes. To this day, neither home. Okay, this, like I said, this was written in 2011. Okay, you know what? Had anyone heard prior to today that the ammunition used to unalive Biggie Smalls came from Germany, or was produced in Germany and only sold in 2 places in this country, California and New Jersey? All right, that was it. The articles are short. The articles talking about Shakur and Eazy E being threatened was very short. All sites that were talking about it or reported it, the articles were short. Now we're gonna jump into how did Eazy E die? The conspiracy surrounding his death. It doesn't have a date on this article. I was looking. But it did have some kind of notation saying that it was updated either sometime last year. So it was recently updated. The article was recently updated. Okay, let's go on. At the time of Eazy E's death, he was only 31 years old and at the height of his solo career. Even though it has been over 2 decades since his passing, the music community continues to grapple with his absence. It still has a hard time coming to grips with the conspiracy theory shrouding his legacy. At a Hollywood News conference on March 17, 1995, former NWA frontman Eazy E, also known as Eric Wright, told the world that he had AIDS. In a prepared statement, Ron Sweeney, the rapper's friend and attorney, said that Eric Wright had learned of this medical condition 2 weeks prior and that he was listed in critical condition at the intensive care unit at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. I'm not religious, but wrong or right, that's me, Sweeney said on behalf of Eazy E. I'm not saying this because I'm looking for a soft cushion wherever I'm heading. I just feel I've got thousands of young fans who have to learn about what's real when it comes to AIDS. I've learned in the last week that this thing is real and it doesn't discriminate. It affects everyone. Yeah, it does and still do affect everyone, but if it was intentionally given to somebody, they wouldn't have been affected. Someone, the video, the clip that I played of Frost, rapper Frost, I guess I can say. It was a part in the video where he said, have you noticed that no woman has ever come out and said that she was affected or she had been given HIV from Eazy E? And I used to think about that all the time. I mean, that used to cross my mind. Like, yeah, why hasn't any woman ever come out and say that she got HIV from Eazy? Okay, let's go on. In the years before Wright's announcement, 2 other prominent men in the black community had come forward with their own HIV revelations. On November the 7th, 91, Lakers guard Magic Johnson held a press conference to reveal that he had HIV, or he was HIV positive. Johnson had undergone a routine physical in October of that same year to secure a life insurance policy while he was in Salt Lake City for an exhibition game against the Utah Jazz. He received a call from Lakers team physician, Dr. Michael Mailman, who delivered the news. Johnson simply thought it was a mistake and requested a second test. Okay, it's just going on talking about it. Here's the thing. A lot of people have said that they felt that was staged because he wanted to get out of his basketball contract. That's what was being said at that time. Okay, now it's talking about tennis champion Arthur Ashe, how I had lived with the disease for 5 years, unbeknownst to the public, before deciding to come forward after learning that USA Today was planning on releasing the details in a forthcoming story. I'm angry that I was put in this position of having to lie if I wanted to protect my privacy, Ashe said April 1992. Just as I'm sure everyone in this room has some personal matter he or she would like to keep private, so did we. There was certainly no compelling medical or physical necessity to go public with my medical condition. What I came to feel about a year ago was that there was a silent and generous conspiracy to assist me in maintaining my privacy, while Johnson has continued to flourish and remains a symbol that HIV is no longer a death sentence. Ash passed away from pneumonia, a complication of AIDS, on February 6, 1993, a year after his announcement. Prior to Eazy E's own admission, the West Coast rap world was being dominated by the push and pull between NWA's former home, Ruthless Records, and the startup label Death Row, which had been formed by Suge Knight, who was intent on launching Dr. Dre as his flagship artist. According to former NWA manager and Ruthless Records co-founder Jerry Heller, Knight got Dre out of his contract by threatening him with baseball bats and lead pipes. I think even more so now that Suge Knight is an evil human being. That's what Jerry Heller told the Murder Master Music Show. Eazy E said, "You know this guy Suge Knight?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, I'm going to kill him." He said, "This guy is going to be a problem and I think I should kill him." I said, "Let me think this thing through." I can't believe Heller had the audacity to say that about another person. I mean, Heller, well, he's no longer here today. Let's go on. I said, first of all, we're doing $10 million a month with 6 employees. We don't even have a typewriter in the office, I said. We're the most successful startup record company in the history of the music business, and you want to kill this guy? I said, that just doesn't make any sense to me. You know something? I should have let him kill him. I should have done the world a favor. He would have done it for sure by himself. He always rolled by himself and he was fearless. I think that he was going to go do it. I shouldn't have talked him out of it. Ruthless would probably still be around. Dr. Dre and Ice Cube would probably still be with Ruthless. It would have been an empire. In 92, Ruthless Records sued Death Row for racketeering. Although the suit was dismissed in 93, however, following Dr. Dre's departure, Ruthless Records continued to profit off of him, according to the Los Angeles Times. The firm received about $1 million in combined annual royalty payments from Young and Priority Records, which in 1990 acquired the rights of NWA's early albums. While in critical condition at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, he and his longtime girlfriend and eventual wife, Tamika Woods, who was pregnant with the second of Eazy E's children together, were married at approximately 9:30 p.m. on March 14th, surrounded by his immediate family. At the time of the rapper's announcement, both Woods and Eazy E's kid, born a year earlier, had tested negative for HIV and AIDS. In the prepared statement that Ron Sweeney read, Eazy E acknowledged that he had led a promiscuous lifestyle before Tamika. 6 different women had become mothers to 7 of Eazy E's kids. I had other women, he admitted. Maybe success was too good to me. On March 26, 1995, 1 month after the initial diagnosis, Eazy E passed away at approximately 6:35 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. In eulogizing Wright, the Reverend Cecil Murray urged those in attendance at the First African Methodist Episcopal Church to rejoice in Wright's life, but learn lessons from the way he had died. I know a little black bird that sings, Murray said, pointing his finger at the coffin, and his lyrics are, I want you to live, I want you to be careful, I want you to slow down. Compton Mayor Omar Bradley declared April 7th Eazy E Day, saying Eric made Compton famous, not just in California, but all over the world. I recognize Eazy as a young man who grew up in the streets of Compton. And brothers and sisters, we know it's not easy growing up in Compton. The Los Angeles Times reported in late April 1995 that after Eazy E's death, a fight over his estate and stake in Ruthless Records occurred almost instantaneously. Squabbles have erupted between his new wife Tomika Woods and the former director of business affairs at Ruthless, Mike Klein. The Times noted Klein filed a lawsuit last week claiming that he owns 50% of the company. Why you have to file a lawsuit if you had the documents showing that you own it? Well, I guess he would, huh? Let's go on. Woods maintains that she is the sole owner. Industries Insider said the company is worth around $10 million, including its assets and a double CD compilation finished by Wright before his death. An April 14th Superior Court hearing is expected to send the once profitable company into a conservatorship until a judge can decide its fate. As many fans attempted to grapple with the loss of the godfather of gangster rap, many couldn't help but to question just how quickly Eazy E's condition had deteriorated. However, according to HIV.gov, it's common for people who have contracted HIV to experience no symptoms at all and to look and appear like a healthy individual. After the early stage of HIV infection, the disease moves into a stage called the clinical latency stage. Latency means a period where a virus is living or developing in a person without producing symptoms. I know somebody like that. Personally, I know somebody like that who has the virus and you would never know. Said they don't have symptoms, none of that. Whew. Yep. Let's go on. Eventually, HIV will weaken a person's immune system. The onset of the symptoms signals the transition from the clinical latency stage to AIDS, resulting in symptoms like rapid weight loss and pneumonia, the latter of which Eazy E succumbed to. But those around him during his final months didn't notice any rapid changes in his appearance or behavior. And he was very visual. You saw him. They weren't like recording him and interviewing him like Tupac, but you saw him leading up to before he supposedly got sick. No, not saying he didn't get sick, but you saw him before it was announced that he was sick. And it was like, wow, I just saw him a couple of months ago, because it deteriorated. If you guys go do some research on Rock Hudson and see how it changed his whole disposition. You knew he was sick when he contracted. He was the first Hollywood star to come out and say he had AIDS. And this was like in 85 or something. Just research Rock Hudson. Let's continue. According to members of Bone Thugs and Harmony, who had just been signed to Ruthless Records around the time of his diagnosis, Eazy E was his normal self. In speaking with Angela Yee, Crazy Bone said dude had full-blown AIDS and looked regular. He still had his weight, still cocky, still looking like a regular dude. It just came about all of a sudden. Lazy Bone added he was really built like a little tank. He was smaller because his appetite had decreased, but there was no lesions or dementia, none of the other things you associate with AIDS, says Charms Henry, Eazy E's former personal assistant and longtime friend. I know because I lost an uncle to it last year. While the conspiracy rumors have increased in recent years, there was an early indication that Eazy E may have been HIV positive. On Snoop's debut album, Doggy Style, there was a skit entitled House Party in which Dr. Dre and Das Dillinger have a conversation. Das asks, "Ayo, what's up with them ends that was on TV dissing you?" Dr. Dre responds, "Man, F them ends. Man, I ain't thinking about that old-ish, man." To which Das echoes, "Busta ass, HIV P, P-U-S-S-Y, ass mofos," and Dre retorts, "Yo, yo, yo, Das, easy come, easy," and then you hear a gunshot. Okay. These people. Let's go on. In his first public appearance after being released from jail in 2003, Suge Knight appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live, with the host donned in a bulletproof vest as a subtle jab at Knight's notorious reputation for violence and intimidation tactics. When Knight finally acknowledged it, he laughed it off before going into how shooting someone wasn't his preferred method of getting his point across, saying, "See, technology is so high, so if you shoot somebody, you can go to jail forever. You don't want to go to jail forever. They have a new thing out. They have this stuff they get blood from somebody with AIDS and they shoot you with it. That's a slow death. The Eazy E thing, you know what I mean?" Okay. Somebody told me, I don't know if I read this or somebody emailed me and told me that. This is allegations, folk. They said Jay-Z likes to shoot, or he like when he supposedly shot calls something, he likes it being done with guns, and Diddy likes poison. Or when he shotguns something, he likes it being done with poison or pneumonia. Allegations, folks. Let's go on. Rapper BG Knockout is perhaps best known for appearing on Eazy E's 1993 single Real Mother Effin' G's in his 2011 song In My Prime from his album. Eazy E's protege, he raps, "The way my big homie went out, he didn't deserve it. They say he died of AIDS, but Eazy was cold murder. I filtered out all the BS with my third iris. Full-blown AIDS, but Tamika ain't got the virus." Yeah, that's kind of one way you know a man has AIDS or whatever, is the women or people he had sex with they get it too. In a 2011 interview with Hip Hop DX, BG Knockout stated, "I believe in my heart somebody did something to Eric. Whether it was Jerry Heller, whether it was his widow, Tamika Woods Wright, I have yet to really know the truth about it. But for a person to have full-blown AIDS, that quickly is suspicious. My little brother, his father died from full-blown AIDS from sharing a needle because he was an addict. Now, I seen this man go through these stages from HIV to full-blown AIDS, and that's how a lot of black people was coming down with AIDS, HIV. They were getting it through needles, sharing needles, doing dope. Let's go on. Well, back in the late 80s and 90s, that was it then. Now it's like the DL things and whatever else people out there doing. Let's go on. And when you get a cold, any little thing like that, your whole immune system shut down. So you have to go into the hospital just to recover. Now, to be around Eric for the last 3 years of his life and he never had an episode like this, never ever, something is strange. Something is real odd. And then you gonna come out and tell me when the man go in there for bronchitis, you gonna come out and tell me this man have full-blown AIDS? And you done been to New York and done been in Chicago and below zero weather and he never got sick? He never had an episode? Like, come on, bruh. Who are you kidding? Jerry Heller was another person close to Eazy E who believed that foul play was a real possibility. Do I think something fishy happened to Eazy? Absolutely, Heller told First Fam Radio. I don't believe for a second that someone with as much money as we did and could afford whatever like Magic Johnson could, who doesn't even test positive anymore. I don't believe he could have possibly died that quickly from full-blown AIDS. I don't believe that. I think that something went on there. And like I say, I have my own ideas who I think was involved. But all I'm willing to say is this. I'm the only one who didn't profit from him passing away. I have my own theory, Lazy Bone told Angela Yee. He went in for a common cough or pneumonia. which was January. Then in February, diagnosed as HIV positive. Then March, full-blown AIDS and dead. I was kind of thinking, what kind of doctors did he go to? Even Eazy E's kids that were born after he died weren't positive. Even their mothers weren't positive. Nobody was positive. I believe it's just like the mystery of who killed Tupac and who killed Biggie Small. Before Eazy E's death, the oft feuding members of the NWA began to band together to support their one-time friend. I was so fortunate to be able to get on the phone with him and talk about maybe putting NWA back together, and we chopped it up about old times and what have you. And maybe not even 2 weeks after that, he was in the hospital, Dr. Dre told Big Boy TV. In 2011, an unsealed FBI document linked both Eazy E and Tupac Shakur to an alleged extortion attempt by the Jewish Defense League, who Jerry Heller had employed to combat Suge Knight's threats, well as neo-Nazi skinhead groups who had threatened them. The report stated on September 11, 1996, reported that JDL and others yet unidentified have been extorting money from various rap music stars via death threats. The scheme involves and others subject, because they omitted stuff, so it says the scheme involves omitted and other subjects making telephonic death threats to rap stars. Subjects then intercede by contacting the victim and offering protection for a fee. Source reported that Eric Wright, also known as Eazy E, who owned Ruthless Records, Woodland Hills, California, was a victim of the extortion scheme prior to dying from AIDS. Omitted had also reportedly targeted Tupac Shakur prior to his recent murder in Las Vegas, Nevada. Here's the thing. Why haven't those other rappers come out and talk about it? You know what I'm saying? See, if this is anybody else, any other group who weren't Jewish, they would have been on whatever YouTube platform talking about how they were extorted and sent fake death threats. And then the people who sent the threats came in acting like the protectors, the ones who want to help you, right? Why haven't anybody else talked about it? See what I'm talking about? You see how they try so damn hard to make black folks look like tyrants, like lower than wild animals, and all along you in the background doing your dirt. Ugh, I can go on and on about it, but I'm not. Let's go on. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, the JDL has orchestrated countless terrorist attacks in the U.S. and abroad, and has engaged in intense harassment of the foreign diplomats, Muslim, Jewish scholars, and community leaders and officials. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, if this is known, where's they bomb? And I'm going to keep saying it. And I don't care who gets offended, because I was offended, disgusted, outraged at what they did to that liberation group. And destroyed the whole, the blocks. Because they was trying to get them out of the house. And then when they were trying to escape and come out the house and surrender, they were still attacking them. The police department was still shooting at them, and would not let them surrender. So you guys will literally annihilate a whole community of black people, burn down their communities, and flood out their communities just for being black. Black folks minding their own business, taking care of their business and their families. You will burn their asses out, flood out their communities. But you saying these people are terrorists in this country and abroad, and you ain't did nothing? That's why I'm talking about the bullshit this country shovels down people's throat. And when you guys gonna stop letting it be a shovel down your throat? And yes, I said shit. Get over it. Those who might be offended, I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to other people who exist in reality. I'm talking to the ones that, prim and proper and don't do anything wrong in public. let's go on. If other deceased rappers are an indication, Eazy E's catalog of previously released songs and likely mountain of unreleased material is very valuable. Since his death, Tupac Shakur has released 9 albums. How can he release anything? You mean people that's trying to benefit from his death released them, with each charting in the top 10 on Billboard. According to Nielsen SoundScan, his biggest seller, 2001 Until the End of Time, has moved 2.2 million copies. Okay, that was it. It just ended with Frost said. I put the clip in, you guys, talking about what he said and his suspicions of Eazy E being murdered by way of AIDS. Yeah, things like that just burn. You know, I didn't calm down, so excuse me for the outburst. I'm just so, this is 2025, and people in their sick way of thinking and their dark, evil, demonic, satanic hearts still try to find a way to make people who look like me worse than them. Need I remind you folks that black people were not that rapid in Hollywood and still aren't. There are not a large number of black people in Hollywood. I did a video on that. I did a video talking about this this black man who's the first black record label owner, and the trials and the obstacles he went through just to keep his business running. His black label called Swan Records, just to keep it running, just the things he went through. And the man ended up passing for white because he was damn near looking white, you know. And when his label went under because they were doing so many scandalous things against him to keep him from being a successful black record label, he went and changed his whole identity and went, you know, past for a white man. Go check out the video. It's a video I did about a year or two ago. But yeah, and I put in the demographics in the music industry. I put in how many musicians there actually are, like people who actually play instruments. I put in the percentage of how many black people are in whatever department, how many white, how many Latinos, how many others. I put in those demographics. And till this day, there are more white people in the music industry than any other group. So who is making the shot calls? Who's running things? Who's telling people what to do and what not to do? At the end of the day, stop playing games acting like you don't know what's up. Who was telling Diddy what to do? That money that Diddy had, the billions of dollars or whatever the hell he had, that was nothing but a drop in the bucket compared to the ones who told him what to do. The money that Diddy had prior to all this coming out was nothing but a drop in the bucket compared to the ones who are in the background pulling the damn strings. You know what? I'm so tired of simpletons. Oh my God. And they cleverly maneuvered it to like, Diddy this. Oh my God. Oh, he's a monster. Oh my God, he's a monster. And I'm not saying he's not. I think he's foolish for allowing himself to be played like this. They set it up real nice against him. And if he come out and expose everybody else, you know, I'm sure he's scared that his family will be touched. I'm sure. But maybe you should just be selfless and say, you know what? It's a possibility. But you know what? I'm about to burn down this whole damn industry. And he has the power to do it. But there's a way he can do it and still be intact. I know you guys think the man is so more powerful than God. Hell, y'all think man created God. He's a figmentation of people's imagination. But you know what? You who believe that, I'm looking forward to the day that you end up looking like the biggest fool on the face of the earth. Because the Bible says only a fool said there is no God. This article affected me in a way that I didn't expect it to. And I think I feel this way because I'm so tired of people hiding behind black people. I'm tired of it. I believe every other group in this country and around the world hide behind black folks. And while you keeping your eyes on black people, they running amok. The other groups running amok. Look what was going on with the illegals. They running amok, taking over apartment buildings and communities and committing all these crimes. And hey, don't arrest them. We got a law. We got a law. We got policies. You cannot touch these immigrants. These illegal aliens. Do not touch them. In the meantime, between time, you still harassing black folks by being black. Girl, I told y'all don't want to get me started. And then maybe you do. And I'm not being arrogant. At the proper time. I said it before. At the proper time. Because people who are walking in true darkness, they know who's real. And they know who's not. And that's all I'm going to end it on that note. So, let's go on. I'm done. I'm done, folks. Thank you for your time and attention. Appreciate your support. Like, commenting, subscribing, sharing, all that. All that good stuff. Sharing is caring. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.